Hello, my name is DC Richards. I'm with the band called Outside of Society, and today I'm going to teach you how to learn guitar in one day, as I did. You see, though, I learned guitar over the telephone before YouTube. Basically, I'm going to show you the same thing that my father taught me. So first thing I'm going to show you is your 3 basic chords, and I'm not going to get too technical about what string is which. Basically, if you don't know your guitar strings, from low to high it is E, A, D, G, B, E. So your E chord, basically basically fingers. You have your index finger, you have your middle finger, you have your ring finger, and you have your pinky. Alright, so you'd want to take your middle finger, place it on the 2nd fret. In case you don't know frets, it's like fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. You take your middle finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string. And then you take your ring finger, 2nd fret, 3rd biggest string. And that is your E chord. It looks just like this. Now generally you want to get as close to the fret as you can when playing guitar chords, but that right there is close enough. When you play a chord, you want to make sure each string rings out correctly. Like so. So, your A chord is very similar. All you have to do is move the position up a string entirely. Basically, it's your middle finger, 3rd biggest string, 2nd fret, right there, and then your ring finger, 4th biggest string, 2nd fret, and it looks just like the E chord except for it goes up 1 string. Now, through time of natural playing, I've developed a way to mute my bottom string, my E string. Because if you hit that E string while you're playing an A, it doesn't sound quite right. So you're going to want to mute with your thumb. And you want to basically be able to go back and forth between chords, and that's a good thing to practice. So that's A. Okay, so those are your first 2 chords. Next I'm going to show you a D chord, and it's with the exact same 2 fingers, most basically played. So it's the 4th biggest string, middle finger, 2nd fret, right here. And then your ring finger on the 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string. Okay, so usually when people play a D, they add in the index finger on the smallest string and on the second fret, smallest string index finger. you probably want to mute your E string for this. Looks just like that. Again, make sure each string rings out clearly. So, if you want to go back over your chords, try doing your E again. This is E to A, E, A, D chord in. I just like to, you can lift your finger, it just gives it that extra effect. And also you can use your pinky on the highest string to also change that effect. And the 3rd fret. So it's like, you have your index finger on the 2nd fret, like I was showing you before, and then you can add that pinky in right here. So practice these 3 chords where you can do them comfortably. Or you don't always have to have your thumb muting the lowest string, as long as you're not hitting it. So, that comes through time and experience of playing chords. So remember how I showed you A. A is just like the E except for one string up. There's another way of playing A, and that's the index finger on the the 3rd biggest string, 2nd fret, right there. Middle finger, 4th biggest string, 2nd fret, and then ring finger, 2nd smallest string, 2nd fret. Basically that's like playing A like this, but with an extra note in it. It's just adding this note in. One, two, three, and make sure each string rings out clearly except for your E string, because it just doesn't fit the scale. Okay, so I've showed you 2 ways to play A, 1 way to play E, and the D chord. blank altogether. So next is a G chord. This one's a bit more complicated, but it's easy to switch from G to C with this. So middle finger, 3rd fret, biggest string. Index finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string. Ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string. You can actually even just play it with those 3 fingers if you want. It's every string. And then you can add in the pinky on the 3rd fret, smallest string. That's a G chord. This is how it looks. Now it's really easy to transition from G to C in this because you don't have to move either of these 2 fingers. You just keep them right where they were and move these up a string. Just like so, like we did with the E and the A. So you just move these 2 fingers up a string, and then basically your middle finger is on the 3rd fret, 2nd biggest string, and your index finger is on the 2nd fret, 3rd biggest string. And I tend to mute my E with my finger right here. And that'll come just naturally through time, believe it or not. If you keep playing and doing your chords, you'll naturally just kind of figure it out. So a good song to practice on is that Green Day song, "Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road." So you start with your G, and then you move up to C, just like this, with these 2 fingers, and then you go to your D chord. D again is middle finger, 3rd smallest string, 2nd fret. Ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string, and then your index finger, 2nd fret, smallest string. That's your D chord. So back to G, middle finger, 3rd fret, biggest string, index finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string. Ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string. And then pinky, 3rd fret, smallest string. And you easily move to C just by adjusting just like that. So the whole thing played together is chord I showed you. And then it goes into D, the 3rd chord I showed you. And then C, and then G. just an E to D transition. E, D, E, D, E. A lot of songs are played in this format. I mean, I think Wild Thing. There's a lot of 3-chord songs right there, but yeah, try and work these chords with, like, once again from the top to the next. It's E, A, and you just simply move these 2 fingers up a string, just like that. And the D can be played with the same 2 fingers right here. You can add that index finger in if you'd like. And then the G chord's the most complicated so far. Looks just like this. And then you can move those 2 fingers up and down from G to C, G to C. Try and get all your strings to ring out clearly each time you play a chord. Okay. So now before we get into the minor chords, now that you have those basic chords down, really the most simplest way to ever play the guitar is going to be your bar chords. And that's basically, so the first one we learned was E, right? Which is middle finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string, and ring finger, 2nd fret, 3rd biggest string. So to play a bar chord like that, basically you just take your index finger and you play those same notes. But what that causes is me to mute these notes. So that's all you're getting is like the 3. I mean, that's not really being played, so the idea is to just get the 3 notes. And in A is the same thing. You just move it up a notch. Index finger, 2nd fret, 3rd biggest string, and 4th biggest string. Just like this was before, except instead of getting every string, you're basically only getting the 3 strings. Well, and you can actually hit all 3 of these notes with A, like I showed you with the extra note. So it's basically like playing that but without your high going. Your high string's muted. And those are your lowest bar chords, unless you tune in to drop D, of course. So now all your other bar chords are going to be played the same way throughout the whole neck. So your 2nd lowest bar chord, which is going to be F, it's basically like playing your E chord, but your ring finger's taking that place. So it's like if I played the E with my ring finger, I'd be like this, but there is no fret right here. Or there's no note right here, unless you pluck like this. But There's really no note right there. But basically all you're doing is replacing your index finger with your ring finger. Or sorry, your index finger with your ring finger and sliding it up a notch. And then placing your index finger on the biggest string, first fret. And again, you're getting 3 notes. And that can be played anywhere on the neck. So you can now through time, if you lay this finger, the index finger, down hard enough, you can get your high note to ring out. But you got to apply a lot of pressure to do that. For now, I would just focus on the 3 notes. Now, basically so this is A in a bar chord, which is the second chord I showed you, which is right here. It's the same chord as this that's a bar chord. Just played on a different spot of the guitar. So basically, what comes after A sharp. And it's just like I showed you with the F chord. Basically, you're replacing your index finger with your ring finger. If there was a note here, that's how it would be played, but there isn't. So that's how you play it. But yeah, basically, you know, it's like doing that and sliding it up. That's pretty much how it is. So, or it's the same as this chord. You know, your index finger, first fret, biggest string, ring finger, third fret, biggest or second biggest string, and third biggest string. So it's these 3 notes. All you got to do is slide that up a string. So instead of playing your lowest string, play your second lowest string with this finger. And it is index finger, first fret, second biggest string, ring finger, third fret, third biggest string, and fourth biggest string. And you'll get I'm basically muting the lowest string with this finger. Just like that. So I'm playing this note, but I'm muting, just by barely touching it, I'm muting it. So let's go back to F on the lowest. And you can switch between the two, or you know, you can go anywhere on the neck for this really, and you can just switch up and down between the 2 chords. And that's A and D. Basically the D that I showed you earlier, that is right here, instead of having 5 strings being played, it's only having 3 strings being played in this spot. So once you do slide up though, like this, I mean not slide up, but once you go up a string with this chord structure, like say you're doing A, 1, 2, 3 strings, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you go up a string with that chord structure, you can actually get 4 notes. With this finger is playing 3 notes. And then I'm just doing this 1 note with this finger. And you want to practice switching those. A good song for this, another Green Day song I'm just going to bust out, is When I Come Around. It's You're interrupting my session. Okay, so those are your bar chords. And that's just moving up and down from that structure to that structure, just like that. When you're hitting the higher note, basically your ring finger can do 3 notes. When you're on the lowest string with your index finger, just like this, you're only getting 3 notes with the 2 fingers. So 3 notes, 4 notes. 3 notes, 4 notes, unless you do like I said earlier, and you can slap that index finger down hard enough to get that high string to ring out. Then you got 5 notes. Or you got 4 notes that way. Basically, I'm hitting this high note with this part of my finger right here. Alright, so next I want to show you the F chord. Standard way of playing the F chord. The F chord in bar chord is the first bar chord I showed you, I think, other than these two. I think it was the third one I showed you. So that's what the F looks like in bar chord. But your standard F is played like this. And it's your index finger, second smallest string, first fret, middle finger, first fret, smallest string. Or like on Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's the part he plays. Just those 2 notes during the verse. But it's those 2 notes right there. And then your ring finger, second fret, third smallest string. And then pinky, third fret, third biggest string. Sometimes it's fun to lift the middle finger on this one for me. I mostly do it probably while I'm picking. And again, I'm muting the lowest string with my thumb. So to go back over what we've learned, the first one is E. Middle finger, second fret, second biggest string, ring finger, second fret, third biggest string. That's every string on the guitar. And then A is that same structure. If you want to do the most simplified A, just moved up a string, just like that. D is your middle finger, 2nd fret, 3rd smallest string, and ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string. And then you can add that index finger in on the highest string on the 2nd fret. Basically, I'm just throwing my pinky in there too. On the highest string. G is your middle finger, 3rd fret, biggest string. Index finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string. Ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string. And then your pinky, 3rd fret, smallest string. Looks just like that. Then you can move to C by moving just these 2 fingers up a string. You're going to want to make sure you got this E string muted. Okay, the F chord, middle finger, 1st fret, smallest string, index finger, 1st fret, 2nd smallest string, ring finger, 2nd fret, 3rd smallest string, and then pinky, 3rd fret, well, 3rd biggest string. And that one's 5 notes because the lower note just doesn't fit with it. I mean, if you accidentally hit it, people might not notice, but and try and get comfortable switching between all these chords. You can just do them to where you got it memorized exactly where each finger goes. If you're looking to play standard guitar, if you're just looking to be a rocker on distortion, well, you could probably just get away with doing bar chords the whole time, which was your E is lowest string is open and your index finger is covering the 2nd fret and 2nd biggest string and the 3rd biggest string on the 2nd fret. Instead of doing E like this, you're doing it with 1 finger. And then same with the A. You might be able to get 3 notes with the A. Then you got your other bar chords, index finger, 1st fret, biggest string, and your ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd and 3rd biggest string. And that can be played anywhere on the whole entire guitar like that. And it's the same thing for moving that structure. You just move up a string and you make sure your lower string is muted. You can basically play any chord just like that, except for when you're up a step like that, you can actually get 3 notes with this finger. or if you can hammer that note down. I try and do it while I'm singing, but I can't always sing and hammer down as many notes as possible at the same time. There are a lot of songs played like this, you know, such as Green Day. Alright, the next chord I want to show you is the C chord. Basically, remember G? If you play G like this, your birdie finger or middle finger on the 3rd fret, biggest string, index finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string, and your ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd smallest string, and then the pinky is on 3rd fret, smallest string. That's a G chord. And then if you move these 2 fingers just up 1 string each finger, you got C. Now I'm going to show you how to play C in another way. So that's basically taking your, and it's the same position as this, with like as far as these 2 fingers go, but you're using your ring finger and middle finger. So ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd biggest string, middle finger, 3rd biggest string, 2nd fret. And then you're going to take your index finger and go on the 2nd smallest string. I'm more comfortable. I'm trying to do it to where you can see it, but it's like I'm comfortable playing it like this. You can add that pinky in on the 3rd fret and the smallest string if you'd like. That's 5 notes, every note except for the lowest string. And that's basically the same as this. They sound slightly different. Both C's. So, now if you want to go back to the beginning of what I taught you, remember your E, middle finger, 2nd fret, 2nd biggest string, and your ring finger, 2nd fret, 3rd biggest string. Every string on the guitar, if you want to play the E minor, all you got to do is add in your index finger on the 1st fret, 4th biggest string. It's just a different sounding E kind of. And the same thing applies with the A minor, except all 3 of these fingers go up or down, however you want to look at it. 1 string, same structure, except for your middle finger is on the 3rd biggest string, 2nd fret. Ring finger, 4th biggest string, 2nd fret, just like with the first A I showed you. Switching between and then you take your index finger and place it on the 1st fret on the 2nd smallest string. By Nirvana, which is A minor added with this finger right here, just plucking your strings accordingly, and then you go to G. can't teach you the whole song, but it is good to practice cover songs. After you get some, like, basically the chords that I've showed you, these are all the chords you're going to need to learn pretty much almost every song out there. Until you get to songs where you'll find new chords that I haven't showed you. But these are the basic chords that you need to know to play the guitar. So next what I want to show you is a lot like the E minor and the A minor that I just showed you. Same chord structure, just moved up and down one string. Now, if you remember your bar chord that I showed you earlier, it's a lot like playing a bar chord, but you can play a bar chord sort of with more than just two fingers. If you're not comfortable with playing a bar chord like this, you can also just throw your pinky in there where your index finger would be holding it down, or no, where your ring finger would be holding it down. So your standard F bar chord is played like this with these three notes. So if you're not comfortable with holding that position or trying to learn that position with just two fingers, you can just throw in a pinky on the third biggest string, third fret. And that applies when you move everything up a string for this structure. Now, just like the E minor and the A minor, I was going to show you with this chord, you can add in your middle finger on the fourth biggest string and second fret for the F chord. I mean, it's the same structure for the whole guitar, it's just this positioning with your fingers. And then you have a minor chord, instead of playing, you got that extra note added in. Notice if I lift my middle finger, it's completely muted. Unless I got a position right for it not to be. But me, I kind of naturally mute the other strings. It just depends on what kind of sound you're looking for too. You can always experiment with different chords and get new sounds depending on what kind of sound you want to get. I mean, I've made up chords that I don't even know what they are. So, like I was saying, just like this, you can add that finger in right there, and that can be played throughout the whole guitar. It's the same thing for if you take that whole chord structure or positioning with your hand and move it up a string for every finger. And then you got your minor chords. You can play this anywhere on the guitar. It's just like sometimes in a blues band or sometimes in a band, the guy isn't hitting this A, he's hitting this A, and you're the second guitar player and you got to pay attention for that, because if you play an A minor with an A, it sounds really funny, while two guitar players are playing the same chord but in two different ways. It's like there's something in there that's not right, because that A minor just sounds different than the A minor. I think that about covers it. I think that's everything. Well, alright, so palm muting. This is how palm muting goes. That is not everything. I'm going to try and basically cover everything I know except for what's in drop D in this video. So palm muting, so you take your guitar and you take your palm right here and you're laying it right there. Right where the string meets the bridge. That's where you're placing your palm. So that way you can get a nice, if you play your E chord, you can get a nice, and then if you lift, you know, you get that ring out. And that's with any chord, you know, you can palm mute on any chord. Or it's like with that Green Day song I showed you, When I Come Around, the one that's played with bar chords. He palm mutes. He goes. And of course, you've always got your chicka chickas. Such as with like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Or whatever, you know. Just maybe you want some chickas in there somewhere. And so, well, that's what I call them anyway, chicka chickas. But yeah, palm muting takes a lot of practice. Or like with Metallica, it's all for Enter Sandman. It's except it's distorted, of course. I turn on the distortion for you, but no, I think I'll keep it clean because it's just a lot easier to hear. So. There's always sliding chords, like in that one, you're sliding your. Now I'm playing a different song because, I mean, you can slide and create a song with sliding techniques in it if you slide between chords, or sometimes it's just fun to slide chords. Got to get your downs and ups and ups and downs down, and it just takes time to get that. I just naturally do it now, but at first you're going to have to really focus on your down, down, up, up, down, however it goes. Song can have its different downs and ups. So some songs are all down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, 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 down. Some people play down, 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 while others go down, up, down, up, down, up. You don't always have to be doing it exactly the same way. Especially if you have two guitars in a band, it makes a huge difference. I mean, just having two different guitars making the same sound makes the whole sound different. But yes, you want to get your basic chords down. Your A, D, G, C. C can also be played like this. E minor, A minor, F, and remember, it's always best to get as close to the fret as you can with a note. Unless, of course, you know, you're kind of restricted on that during chords. I mean, it's not like I can get any closer to the fret with this, you know. But that's what my dad told me. So, and it is. It's good to play a chord like here versus like here. You know, you want it to be closer to that end of the fret, as far this way as you can get it. Same with your bar chords. You want to play them close to the frets and not like that. You want them like that. Not on top of the fret, but right next to it. So this is D minor. If you remember your D chord, middle finger, third smallest string, second fret, index finger, third fret, second smallest string, and that's your D chord, third chord I showed you. And if you want to add that pinky in on the second fret and the smallest string, try and not play the lowest note. It does not go with the scale. Unless that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Maybe you want... And that's just how you want to play your song, you know. I'm not here to tell you. But if you're going to ring out a D, you're probably going to want your E muted. Or this lowest string. So all you got to do to play the D minor is move your index finger from this fret to this fret. Easy as that. Play exactly like a D. Just that one little extra note in makes it sound different. And then, you know, you can throw your pinky in just like with this D, or it's just like going, but you know, with the other two notes in there. And same thing with this structure. That's all I have for today. It's been almost an hour, so that is how I learned how to play the guitar over the telephone, and except for minus the cover songs. Anyhow, I hope you liked my video. Subscribe to my page. I will post a drop D video, and if you want to check out my band, we're called Outside of Society. We're on Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube. So yeah, check us out if you'd like. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is the easiest way I learned to play guitar in one day with these techniques. And you know, second finger, third string, it sounds corny sometimes, but that's how I learned how to play the guitar. And you know, and I'm still playing today. I've been playing for 15 years. There's other things I can show you with drop D, but that video will have to wait for another time. Unless you feel like you're ready, go ahead and check out the drop D video after I have it posted. Thanks for watching.